boys and girls. For the fable today, I will be reading a story about a boy and a wolf.
The story I'm going to read is The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Aesop's Fables. What is a fable? A fable is a short story or tale that is intended to teach a lesson. All of the fables in this library were told long ago by a man named Aesop. Here's the title page. Once there was a shepherd boy who tended a flock of sheep not far from his village. As a shepherd, his job was to make sure that the villagers' sheep were safe and didn't wander away. One day, when the shepherd boy was feeling bored, he decided to play a trick on the villagers to amuse himself. The boy started yelling, "Wolf! Wolf!" as loud as he could because he knew the villagers would come running to protect him and the sheep. Well, there was no wolf. The shepherd boy was lying. When the villagers arrived, the boy laughed at them. The villagers realized that they had been tricked, and they became angry at the boy. The shepherd boy, however, thought it was funny to make the villagers stop what they were doing and come running. He played the same trick on the villagers the next day, then again the day after. Both times the villagers were very upset. A few days later, as the boy was tending the sheep, a real wolf approached the flock. When he saw the wolf, the boy immediately yelled, "Wolf! Wolf!" But this time, no one came to help the shepherd boy. The villagers thought the boy was up to his old tricks again. They didn't want to be laughed at, so they simply ignored his cries. Sadly, this time it wasn't a trick. The boy was no match for the wolf, and it easily stole the sheep. From this, the shepherd boy learned two important lessons. First, you should never yell for help if you don't really need it. Second, if you tell lies, people won't believe you even when you're telling the truth. The boy went to the villagers and apologized for how he had been acting and asked for another chance. He promised he would never fail them again. It took many months for everyone to trust him, but the shepherd boy had learned his lesson. Because of the shepherd boy's hard work, the wolf never stole another one of the villagers' sheep. The end. I wonder if you remember the lesson learned from this fable and who learned it. It was the boy, definitely. That boy learned it's not okay to lie because if you lie, people will not be able to tell if you are actually telling the truth. The other thing that the boy learned was that you should never yell for help unless you really need it. I hope both of those lessons make sense to you because I think that they are pretty important. I wonder if this story reminded you of anything. It reminded me of a few things. One of them is about when something is funny. The boy in the story thought it was really funny when the whole town came running frantically thinking that there was a wolf. But the town people didn't think it was funny. They were very worried. I talk about that in my classroom a lot. When something is funny or if someone's joking, it means that everyone thinks it's funny and everyone's laughing. But if one person laughs and the other people don't think it's funny or they get bothered by it, then that's not really a joke. That might be teasing. Another thing this fable reminds me of is in the classroom or outside on the playground when kids are playing and someone yells help or they scream like they're being hurt. And I rush over or another teacher rushes over thinking that something is terribly wrong. And there isn't anything wrong. The kids were just playing. I talk about that with them and I say, please don't act like there's an emergency because if there is a real emergency, we might not know. I'm glad that the boy learned his lesson at the end of the book and changed his behavior. He got better and he worked hard to make things a little bit more right than how they were before. All right, boys and girls, this was actually our last fable. We talked about fables for about 2 weeks. We're going to start something new next week, all right? Take care, boys and girls. Thanks for watching and learning with me.